Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. 2025 is shaping up to be an incredible year for Nintendo fans, with both the Switch and the new Switch 2 getting some amazing single-player experiences. Today, we're counting down the top 20 best single-player games you can play right now on Nintendo's platforms. These are games where you can just lose yourself in incredible worlds, stories, and gameplay without needing anyone else. Let's jump right in. Octopath Traveler 0 stands out as a richly crafted single-player RPG that refines the series' formula with a stronger narrative focus and expanded party mechanics. The game centers on a custom protagonist whose ruined hometown becomes both the emotional anchor and a key gameplay system, as rebuilding it introduces meaningful choices and rewards. Exploration feels layered thanks to classic path actions that let you uncover secrets, interact with NPCs in distinct ways, and shape the flow of side quests. Combat remains the heart of the experience, using the familiar break and boost system, but elevating it with 8 character parties split between frontline and backline positions, creating tactical depth through synergy, weaknesses, and turn manipulation. With more than 30 recruitable allies, each offering unique abilities, assembling a team becomes a satisfying strategic puzzle that adapts to different regions and enemy types. The HD 2D art style reinforces a sense of scale and atmosphere, blending detailed environments with expressive pixel characters, while the overarching storyline focuses on themes of loss, resilience, and the pursuit of power across Orstera.
Here goes nothing! Works like a charm! Let me! Now!
Right. That hurt.
Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 continue to be celebrated as two of the most inventive single-player platformers on Nintendo Switch, thanks to their remarkable blend of gravity-shifting mechanics and imaginative level design that still feels bold years later. Both games use spherical planets and floating structures to create platforming challenges that constantly reframe orientation, letting Mario run upside down, leap between tiny planetoids, and navigate shifting gravity fields that keep every stage feeling dynamic. Progression revolves around collecting power stars scattered across themed galaxies, each introducing new ideas through clever obstacles, environmental puzzles, and memorable power-ups like Bee Mario, Cloud Mario, and Yoshi's abilities in the sequel. The first game adds unexpected emotional texture through Rosalima's backstory and the Star Festival, giving a gentle narrative thread to its cosmic journey, while the sequel sharpens pacing with tighter levels built around strong mechanical hooks. Both titles benefit from vibrant presentation and fully orchestrated music that heightens the sense of cosmic scale, helping each world feel distinct and filled with small surprises. Metroid Prime 4: Beyond stands out as a deeply atmospheric single-player adventure that pushes the series' first-person exploration to new heights while staying true to the methodical rhythm longtime fans love. The journey follows Samus Aran across the isolated world of Vuros, where scanning environments, uncovering hidden routes, and mastering new tools form a steady loop of discovery. Combat feels sharper thanks to refined lock-on targeting and the introduction of psychic abilities that let Samus manipulate objects, expose concealed pathways, and unleash guided shots that add tactical nuance to encounters. Traversal gains a fresh twist with the Vi-Zero La motorcycle, a sleek vehicle that links key regions while preserving the sense of solitude that defines Metroid. The world itself is layered with ancient ruins, environmental puzzles, and dense lore that encourages slow, deliberate exploration rather than constant action. A rival bounty hunter threads personal tension through the narrative, adding stakes without disrupting the series' preference for minimalistic storytelling. Boss battles deliver a mix of pattern recognition and resource management, reinforcing the balance between skill and observation. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound delivers a fierce single-player experience built around razor-sharp combat, demanding timing, and a renewed focus on momentum as Ryu Hayabusa battles demonic forces spreading across both modern cities and corrupted spiritual realms. The signature speed and precision of the series returns through fluid weapon stances, each supported by branching skill trees that let players emphasize damage, mobility, or defensive counters. While the new Ragebound gauge rewards perfect parries and evasions with heightened power and expanded finishers. Levels mix intense combat arenas with optional paths that hide trials and mini-bosses, and traversal feels more dynamic thanks to wall running, aerial dashes, and a responsive grapple that links encounters with quick platforming bursts. Boss fights form the backbone of each chapter, pushing pattern recognition and stamina management to their limits as multi-phase encounters escalate in complexity. The story maintains a lean, fast pace, following Ryu's attempt to understand the origins of a spreading curse while confronting rival ninjas, ancient clans, and distortions bleeding into the mortal world. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment is a polished single-player action game that elevates the Musou formula with sharper combat systems, diverse characters, and a mythic tone drawn from Zelda's deeper lore. Battles unfold across sprawling warfields packed with shifting objectives, encouraging players to balance crowd control with quick rotations between allied heroes, who each bring distinct weapon styles, elemental techniques, and explosive special attacks. The introduction of sync strikes adds a layer of tactical timing, letting you chain powerful team-based finishers that break elite foes and swing momentum in large-scale clashes. Zonai devices deepen the mechanical variety, offering elemental tools and battlefield manipulation that reward thoughtful use rather than simple aggression. Progression feeds into a steady rhythm of unlocking moves, upgrading gear, and mastering the nuances of each character's combat loop. The story places Zelda at the center of the imprisoning war, drawing her into an ancient conflict alongside figures like Rauru and Minoru as they confront Ganondorf's rise and the collapse of Hyrule's last defenses.
Is this my power?
Amplified by the Zonai treasure.
Yakuza Kiwami 2 stands out on Nintendo Switch in 2025 as a gripping single-player crime drama that blends emotional storytelling with energetic combat and a living urban world. You follow Kazuma Kiryu as he's pulled into a violent power struggle between the Tojo clan and the Omi Alliance, a conflict that unfolds through cinematic cutscenes, tense negotiations, and moments of quiet humanity that highlight the series' signature tonal balance. Combat feels weighty and expressive, letting Kiryu chain fluid combos, unleash brutal heat actions, and use the environment to devastating effect, while steady progression and weapon upgrades keep encounters engaging. The addition of the Majima saga expands the experience with a fresh perspective, giving Goro Majima his own storyline and distinct brawling style. Exploration across Kamurocho and Sotenbori remains a major draw, as dense streets packed with distractions, karaoke bars, gambling dens, arcade machines, and management minigames offer meaningful side content that enriches the world rather than feeling like filler. Characters are written with surprising depth, from hardened rival bosses to memorable civilians, grounding the escalating stakes in personal motivations. Pokémon Legends ZA reshapes the formula by setting the entire adventure within a reimagined Lumiose city, turning its districts and hidden passages into interconnected wild zones where exploration, quests, and dynamic encounters unfold at a steady rhythm. Real-time combat replaces traditional turn-based battles, letting you command Pokémon with fluid timing, quick repositioning, and strategic swaps that highlight tight matchups in a more active way, especially during heated clashes where area-based attacks and mobility matter as much as raw power. Progression is framed by the ZA Royale ranking system, pushing you through increasingly challenging trainers and structured milestones that give the campaign a competitive edge. The story follows an ambitious redevelopment project led by Quasartico Inc., whose vision of human-Pokémon coexistence is complicated by strange disturbances tied to rogue mega-evolutions and Zygarde's silent watch over the city. Mega Evolution returns not just as a combat mechanic, but as a narrative device, marking key encounters with dramatic shifts that reinforce the stakes.
Challenge you to battle. Strike first before being seen, and you'll land a surprise attack. During battles, using a super effective move at the right moment is key. And with Mega Evolution,
Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, reestablishes itself in 2025 as a standout single-player tactical RPG, blending a morally complex narrative with deeply strategic combat that rewards patience and planning. You follow Ramza Buve as he becomes entangled in the War of the Lions, a conflict driven by political betrayal, clashing noble houses, and the quiet suffering of commoners caught in the struggle. Battles unfold on isometric, grid-based maps where elevation, positioning, and turn order shape every decision, and the expansive job system lets you craft specialized units ranging from agile ninjas to devastating spellcasters whose synergy defines your long-term approach. Modern refinements streamline the experience with clearer menus, visible turn queues, and faster battle speeds that preserve the tactical depth while reducing downtime. Each encounter reinforces the weight of your choices as enemy compositions, terrain quirks, and ability interactions push you to adapt on the fly. The story complements these mechanics with strong character arcs, cinematic sequences, and world building that paints Ivalice as a place steeped in ambition, faith, and personal sacrifice.
Just getting started.
I feel stronger.
me then.
Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake emerges in 2025 as a standout single-player JRPG that refreshes two foundational adventures with modern presentation and thoughtful refinements, while preserving the simplicity and charm that define the series. Both titles lean on classic turn-based combat, now enhanced with cleaner interfaces, optional auto battle, and faster pacing that smooth out grinding without removing the need for careful planning during tougher encounters. The HD 2D art style breathes life into Alfgard and the expanded world of the second game, blending pixel character designs with rich lighting and depth that make exploration feel warm and nostalgic, yet distinctly modern. The first story follows Erdrick's descendant on a solitary quest across a monster-filled land, while the second introduces a full party of heirs whose abilities and personalities add strategic variety and a stronger sense of journey. New narrative scenes, additional spells, and improved enemy behaviors enrich both games, giving returning fans more to discover while helping newcomers connect to the characters and world. These enhancements deepen the emotional beats and give the progression a smoother, more engaging flow, all without compromising the straightforward fantasy appeal of the originals. Red Dead Redemption remains one of the most compelling single-player experiences on Nintendo Switch, thanks to its blend of open-world freedom, emotional storytelling, and grounded frontier atmosphere. You step into the role of John Marston, a former outlaw coerced into tracking down members of his old gang, a mission that pulls him across fading western landscapes filled with crumbling towns, dusty deserts, and pockets of lawlessness that reflect a world on the brink of change. The gameplay mixes horseback travel, emergent encounters, and structured missions, giving the world a sense of unpredictability as bandits, wildlife, and strangers create moments that feel unscripted. Combat is driven by tight, third-person gunplay and the iconic Deadeye system, which slows time and lets you mark shots for precision takedowns that reinforce the gunslinger fantasy. A morality and bounty system shapes how civilians and lawmen respond to your actions, making even small choices ripple through your journey. Side activities, duels, hunting, bounty contracts, and local diversions deepen the sense of inhabiting a living frontier. Trails in the Sky First Chapter stands out in 2025 as a richly layered single-player JRPG that blends heartfelt storytelling with strategic, turn-based combat in a world that feels genuinely lived in. The adventure follows Estelle Bright and her adoptive brother Joshua as they travel across the kingdom of Liberl as junior bracers, taking on local jobs that slowly reveal political tensions and a deeper conspiracy shaping the region's future. Combat mixes classic turn order mechanics with spatial positioning, arts casting, and crafts that reward planning, while the Orbment and Quartz system offers a flexible way to build characters around elemental affinities and support roles. The modernized edition enhances the original's charm with cleaner visuals, expressive voice work, and quality-of-life improvements that make exploration smoother without disrupting the game's deliberate pacing. Towns bustle with NPCs who update their dialogue as the story progresses, giving every locale a sense of continuity and community that encourages players to immerse themselves in side quests and optional stories. The writing balances warmth, humor, and gradual world-building, letting character relationships grow naturally while hinting at larger forces in the background. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, stands out in 2025 as a warm, customizable single-player RPG that blends life sim freedom with light combat and steady progression across a vibrant island shaped by your choices. Its Lives system lets you switch freely between professions such as paladin, miner, carpenter, cook, and many more, each offering unique skills, quests, and crafting paths that make experimentation feel natural and rewarding. This flexibility fuels a loop where gathering materials, crafting tools, hunting monsters, building structures, and completing side tasks all feed into one another, creating a sense of ownership over your character's growth and the world around you. Exploration is gentle but satisfying as you uncover new regions, forage for resources, take on local requests, or dive into dungeons that add a touch of traditional RPG challenge. The story ties everything together with a light mystery surrounding a heroine who gains the ability to traverse time, letting narrative moments unfold across shifting eras that subtly alter the island's structures and relationships. Characters and quests lean into charm rather than intensity, building a world that feels relaxing yet full of goals to chase. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, stands out in 2025 as a haunting and polished single-player Metroidvania that blends atmospheric exploration, strategic combat, and a steadily unfolding mystery. You play as Lilac, and the Tuner, awakening in the ruined Land of Fumes, where toxic mists have driven artificial homunculi into madness, setting the stage for a journey built on purification and rediscovery. Rather than fighting directly, Lilac summons purified homunculi to battle for her, letting you mix and match abilities to create flexible loadouts tailored to platforming hazards, aggressive foes, and demanding boss encounters. As you progress, new traversal abilities and upgrades expand the world's interconnected map, rewarding backtracking with shortcuts, hidden chambers, and meaningful power boosts that reinforce the sense of growth. Difficulty options allow players to tune the experience while preserving the tension of its combat rhythm, and the pacing balances challenge with quiet stretches of exploration. The narrative builds through fragments of memory, fallen settlements, and encounters with corrupted figures who hint at a deeper collapse within the kingdom. Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma earns its praise in 2025 as a warm but substantial single-player adventure that blends action combat, life sim progression, and village restoration into a cohesive loop. You awaken as an earth dancer in the land of Azuma, piecing together lost memories while helping scattered communities recover from a creeping blight. The journey alternates between fast, responsive combat, supported by multiple weapon types and powerful sacred treasures, and gentle exploration across seasonal regions filled with dungeons, resources, and character-driven quests. Farming, crafting, and rebuilding villages feed directly into your growth, offering stat boosts, materials, and relationships that expand your capabilities both in and out of battle. Each restored settlement adds personality through festivals, side stories, and NPC interactions that give the world a grounded sense of community. Combat stays engaging through flexible loadouts and smooth animations, while the progression curve encourages experimentation rather than grinding. The narrative balances mythic stakes with intimate character moments as you confront the Blight and uncover the origins of your role, creating a steady sense of purpose without sacrificing the series' cozy tone. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster stands out in 2025 as a richly preserved pair of classic single-player RPGs that blend strategic combat, large-scale recruitment, and emotional storytelling into one cohesive collection. The remaster enhances visuals, audio, and interface clarity while keeping the heart of each game intact, offering smoother battle speeds and multiple difficulty options that make the experience more accessible without reducing challenge. Across both adventures, turn-based combat hinges on thoughtful party composition, rune customization, and tactical use of front and backline positioning, with the second entry expanding depth through unity moves and elemental weapon strategies. Central to the series' identity is the recruitment of the 108 Stars of Destiny, a sprawling cast whose personalities, skills, and story ties enrich every corner of the world and organically feed into both battles and narrative progression. The first game tells a tight, character-driven tale of rebellion and identity, while the second delivers a broader, more politically charged narrative that explores fractured alliances, loyalty, and the personal cost of war. Marvel Cosmic Invasion stands out in 2025 as a vibrant, single-player beat-em-up that blends retro pixel art charm with modern combat design and a lively cosmic Marvel storyline. Each mission lets you choose two heroes and swap between them instantly, creating fluid tag-team combos that reward timing, spacing, and smart ability use rather than simple button mashing. Every hero brings a distinct moveset built around their comic book powers, ranging from fast melee strings to ranged blasts and defensive tools, while powerful focus attacks help clear dense enemy waves or break boss defenses. Stages span both grounded and cosmic locales, moving from New York's alleys to the Negative Zone and Asgardian realms, each packed with themed enemies and escalating encounters that push you to experiment with different hero pairings. Boss fights anchor the pacing with set pieces that test mastery of dodges, blocks, and combo extensions. The narrative uses comic panel storytelling and energetic voice work to frame a galaxy-wide threat as heroes band together to repel Annihilus' invasion, giving personality and humor to the action without slowing momentum. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition stands out in 2025 as a sweeping single-player RPG that blends vast exploration, layered progression, and a distinctive sci-fi narrative across the alien world of Mira. You step into the role of a customizable survivor who joins Blade, a group tasked with defending New Los Angeles and searching for scattered human life while unraveling the mysteries tied to the towering Lifehold. Exploration drives the experience, with continents that span jungles, deserts, glaciers, and floating islands, each filled with dangerous wildlife, hidden caves, and resource nodes that feed into crafting and development. The highlight remains the Skells, giant mechanized suits that shift both traversal and combat, letting you soar across landscapes or take on colossal creatures that dwarf your party. Real-time battles blend ranged and melee arts, cooldown timing, positional bonuses, and overdrive management, encouraging players to build synergies between classes, loadouts, and party roles. Quality of life refinements streamline quest tracking, interface readability, and Skell customization, making the game's depth easier to engage with. Hades 2 stands out in 2025 as a dynamic and richly layered single-player roguelike that expands the series' fast-paced combat and mythological storytelling with a sharper sense of progression and atmosphere. You play as Melinoe, the princess of the underworld, fighting through shifting regions below and above the surface to challenge Kronos, whose assault on the gods drives a narrative filled with tension, mentorship, and dark humor. Combat flows through quick strikes, wide special attacks, evasive dashes, and potent magic abilities that draw from a dedicated resource bar, creating a rhythm that rewards adaptation and mastery. Boons from Olympian allies reshape each run, giving weapons new properties and encouraging experimentation as you face increasingly demanding foes and bosses like Scylla and Cerberus. Progression outside of individual attempts adds long-term structure through incantations, permanent upgrades, and unlockable tools that gradually deepen both mechanics and character relationships. Dialogue evolves after every victory or defeat, making the world feel alive and reactive while maintaining the studio's signature storytelling flair.
Slowing down.
Donkey Kong Bananza stands out in 2025 as a creative and energetic single-player platformer that reimagines exploration through its emphasis on destruction, excavation, and free-form traversal. The game drops you into layered underground biomes, where walls, floors, and rock formations can be smashed, dug through, or reshaped to uncover secrets, forge shortcuts, and reveal clusters of Banandium gems that fuel Donkey Kong's upgrades. Movement feels heavy but responsive, blending classic rolling, climbing, and jumping with new excavation tools and transformations that shift moment-to-moment gameplay. These transformations, each tied to abilities unlocked through a key companion whose singing activates special effects, let DK glide, charge, or pierce through tough materials, turning routes that once seemed impossible into stylish paths forward. Encounters with the hostile Void Company frame the journey, pushing DK deeper into exotic caverns, icy chambers, and volcanic tunnels filled with puzzles and environmental hazards that encourage experimentation rather than linear problem-solving. The narrative unfolds lightly through character interactions and discoveries, keeping momentum on exploration while adding an undercurrent of mystery. Hollow Knight Silksong stands as a refined and atmospheric single-player Metroidvania that builds on the strength of its predecessor while giving the adventure a faster, more agile identity through Hornet's acrobatic style. Her journey through Farloom unfolds across towering biomes filled with traps, secrets, and enemies, shaped by a strange, silk-bound affliction, and the rhythm of combat blends swift strikes, precise dodges, and a silk-based healing system that demands careful timing under pressure. The tool and crest systems deepen customization, letting you tune abilities, alter movement options, and experiment with combat modifiers that meaningfully shift playstyle. Exploration thrives on verticality and momentum, with wall climbs, rapid dashes, and elegant grappling moves opening paths across dense, interconnected regions that reward persistence and curiosity. Wishes, optional side challenges with narrative implications, add layers of characterization and world detail, while the main story slowly uncovers Hornet's connection to Farloom's downfall through encounters with wandering travelers, eerie settlements, and imposing bosses whose patterns and personalities shape the trek. And there you have it, the top 20 best single-player games on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 in 2025. What games are you most excited to play? Let me know in the comments which of these you're picking up first, and if there are any single-player games I missed that deserve a mention. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo content. Until next time!